Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are about to dissect a landmark case from 1875 called Ashbury versus Richie. This case is not just about a company, it's about the very foundation of what a company can and can do. It all boils down to a seemingly simple question. Is there a limit to a company action? Ashbury versus Richie takes us on a thrilling journey through the boundaries of corporate power and the importance of staying true to your business goals. This case established the principle of ultra vires, a fancy legal term that basically means beyond the powers. Let's see how Ashbury versus Richie got tangled up in ultra wire and what it means for companies today. So we will explore the case in detail, including the concept of ultra wires and the ultra wires doctrine. But first, let's understand the case itself. The Ashbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company Limited was incorporated to manufacture railway carriages and iron. Its primary objective was of to manufacture and sell railway carriages, wagon and other rolling stock, and to carry on the business of mechanical engineers and general contracts. And the secondary objective allowed for a wider range of activities that supported the main business. This included buying and selling materials like timber and metals and anything else considered essential or helpful for their core operation. The company founding document memorandum was not limited to just their main goal. Furthermore, it included a secondary objective that allowed them to do other businesses if they were related or helpful to their main one. Okay. In 1869, Ashbury entered into a contract with Richie, okay, who was a contractor to finance the construction of a railway line in Belgium. This agreement entailed that Ashbury would provide financial support and resources for Richie to build the railway. I am repeating it once again because this is an important line to understand. This agreement entailed that Ashbury would provide financial support and resources for Richie to build the railway. I am emphasizing this point to ensure a clear understanding of why the dispute between Ashbury and Richie arose. Okay, the primary reason for the conflict was that Ashbury main business objective differed from this arrangement. Okay, what was the main objective of this business? Their main objective was to manufacture and sell railway carriages, wagon and other rolling stock. Okay, but here what is mentioned in this agreement, it is mentioned that Ashbury would provide financial support and resources for Richie to build the railway, and this is the main reason for the dispute. Okay, let's understand how the dispute arises and what happened in the legal proceeding. Okay, so first, ultra wire nature, you should understand what is ultra wire natures here. Okay, after entering into the contract, Ashbury director realizes that the activities outlined in the contract which Richie fell outside the scope of their company stated objectives. Okay, specifically constructing railways in Belgium was not within the ambit of manufacturing and selling railway carriages or the other activity specified in their memorandum. Okay, that is why this is ultra wire. Okay, ultra wire is a Latin term. Uh, Ultra wire is a Latin term used in law that means beyond the power, beyond the powers. In the context of business law, it referred to actions taken by a company that are outside the scope of its authority as defined in its founding document, such as Memorandum of Association or Article of Incorporation. So let's break down of this concept. So company authority, every company is created with a specific purpose and set of power outline its legal document in its legal document. This defines the boundary of what the company can and cannot do. Okay, so ultra wire act, any action a company takes that fall outside of these authorized power is considered ultra wires. Okay, these acts are typically deemed invalid or void. Okay, for example, just take an example. A company formed to manufacture furniture. Okay, a company formed to manufacture a furniture cannot use its fund to invest in a restaurant franchise. If a company article of incorporation require board approval for large purchases, a single manager making a big purchase without board approval might be considered ultra wire. So what is the importance of ultra wire? The ultra wire doctrine protect various stakeholders. Okay. The ultra wire doctrine is a legal principle based on the concept of ultra wires. It essentially states that company must operate within the boundaries set forth in their founding documents. And why this doctrine is important? There are several reasons for that. Like, one of the main reason is to protect investor. Investor rely on the memorandum of association to understand the company purpose and potential risk. The ultra wire doctrine help ensure company don't use their money for unauthorized activities. Okay, it reduces uncertainty. By limiting a company action, the doctrine help to avoid situation where the company engages in activities outside the expertise of its management. It promotes accountability. It ensures companies are held responsible for acting within their defined powers. Okay, so exception and limitations are also there. The ultra wire doctrine is not absolute. Okay, in some cases, court may allow certain ultra wires act to stand if the act is not harmful and the company has the power to ratify it later. The other party involved was not unaware of the company's limitations. So overall, the ultra-wire doctrine helps maintain order and accountability within the corporate world. It ensures companies operate within their intended boundaries and protect stakeholders from unauthorized actions. Okay, so uh, upon this realization, Ashbury director decided to repudiate, cancel the contract with Richie, arguing that the agreement was ultra-wire beyond the legal power of authority of the company and therefore void. So this means that the company was not legally bound to fulfill the contract because it was not within the power conferred by his incorporation documents. Then what Richie does, Richie was upset by Ashbury backing out of the deal. Okay, Richie sued them for breach of contract. He demanded the agreement be upheld and compensation for his losses from the cancellation. Okay, so so then what does court ruled in this case? Okay, so initially court ruling were mixed with some decision favoring Richie and other siding with Ashbury. However, the critical legal question was whether the contract was indeed ultra vires and thus unenforceable. So the House of Lords decision was the case ultimately reached the court, the highest court in the United Kingdom at that time. The House of Lords ruled decisively in favor of Ashbury. The judgment emphasized the principle that a company is strictly limited to the objective stated in its memorandum of association. Any contract that fall outside of this specific objectives is ultra vires and therefore void. And what reasoning court has given? The court reasoned that investors rely on the memorandum to understand the company businesses and potential risk. If companies could enter into any contract regardless of their objects, it would undermine investor confidence and create uncertainty. So therefore, this legal principle established ultra wire doctrine. Okay, and the ruling in Ashbury versus Ritchie firmly established the ultra wire doctrine in company law. This doctrine that if a company engage in activities beyond those outlined in its memorandum of association, those actions are void and not binding on the companies. And it protects shareholder and creditors. The decision underscored the importance of protecting shareholders and creditors by ensuring that a company adheres to its stated objectives. The court sought to protect investor and creditor from the risk associated with unauthorized business activities. So, what was the impact on the company law? This case had a profound impact on company law. It highlighted the need for flexibility in the corporate structure, leading to reforms that allowed companies greater freedom in defining their objectives. Eventually, the ultra wire doctrine was largely abolished for companies incorporated under the Companies Act 2006 in the UK, allowing companies to have unrestricted object unless specifically limited by their article of association. So, so what was the conclusion? So in summary, Ashbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company Limited contract with Richie was declared ultra vires because it fell outside the company authorized business activity as outlined in the Memorandum of Association. The House of Lords ruling in Ashbury versus Richie reinforced the ultra wire doctrines, profoundly influencing the development and subsequent reform of company law. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you.